Accordance 11.1. This podcast is at the basic level. It requires no knowledge of Accordance Bible software, or Greek, or Hebrew. I am very pleased to announce the release of Accordance 11.1, the first major update to Accordance 11 since its release last fall. It is a major update too, and free for all owners of Accordance 11. It adds some highly anticipated improvements, implements many of our customer suggestions and requests, and even includes some additional surprises for our users. We've been steadily improving and adding features to Accordance 11 ever since its release last fall. The complete list is available here. Accordance 11.1 includes a lot of under-the-hood changes in the code as we work to implement Apple and Microsoft's ever-changing standards. We've also added many new and improved features, which this podcast will survey under 4 broad categories. First up is user content. It includes user notes, user tools, imported, formerly user, Bibles, and a new type of resource called imported tools. We've also thoroughly revised our syntax, with improvements in both our syntax trees and in construct searches using syntax. Our ability to work with Unicode is also now much improved. We're pleased to announce that Unicode Bibles can now be diagrammed, and searches in Unicode Bibles are supported by analytics. Finally, there are a whole host of miscellaneous changes, only some of which we'll have time to mention in this episode. A complete list is available right here. User content. Accordance's user notes and user tools both use an edit window, which has been updated in Accordance 11.1. It still retains its minimalist look, but sports a number of additional features. First, we've added a keyboard language button, which will make it easier to switch to and from Hebrew or Greek when adding content. The link and the auto-link buttons have been moved from the bottom navigation bar to the top right and are represented by new icons. Auto-link now automatically formats web and local file links as well as verse references. Link includes some new options too, making entering a link much easier, as well as allowing us to display different text than the link itself. That's particularly nice if the link is long, as they often are. There's also an Add Picture button, which allows us to add JPEG, PNG, TIFF, and bitmap files. These could include our own photos, illustrations, or cartoons, even snapshots of an accordance diagram or atlas. Pictures appear as thumbnails and expand when we click on them, just as they do in other Accordance resources. The text alignment buttons are only available for user tools, where we expect users to enter more substantial content than in user notes. Individual notes and tool articles now include a timestamp that shows when each has last been edited. We can also now move between notes or articles and tools using either the navigation arrows or Command, Mac, or Control, PC, plus the up or down arrows on the keyboard. Now, for those of you who also use Accordance on an iPhone or an iPad, let me issue a word of caution. Do not edit user notes with pictures on Accordance Mobile at this time. We're still working on adding support for this feature in our mobile app. One of Accordance 11.1's brand new features is the ability to create an imported tool. To show you how it works, I downloaded a user tool from the Accordance Exchange. After opening it in Accordance, we can then choose Convert User Tool to Tool. The new Imported tool will then replace the old User tool. Notice that it now has a degree symbol after its name. That's to distinguish these new tools from our purchased resources. Unlike a regular user tool, an imported tool is not designed to be edited and re-edited. However, we can now add user notes and highlights to it. So let's add a note. Mine thanks Paul Hung for contributing this user tool to the Accordance Exchange. Now we'll add some highlights and highlight symbols. This new type of tool is perfect for any pastor, priest, or rabbi who wants to distribute a sermon collection to the congregation, or the teacher, professor, or Bible study leader who wants a way to share lecture material with students. We have a lot of Bibles available in Accordance, but there are thousands more out there. So we've long allowed users to import a Bible they own using Import Bible Text. Now we can import any text we own, not just any Bible. Once we select a file, this dialog box appears, showing us the two new options. First, we can choose any existing accordance text and use its versification. We just click and choose from the list. We can also use alternate book names, which must be provided in a separate text file. The file must contain a line for each book name, where the original book name is followed by a tab and then the alternate name. Syntax. We've improved our handling of syntax in two ways. The first is tied to syntax trees, which now correctly highlight text that spans verse divisions. That's true for both Hebrew and for Greek. The second is using the construct window to search for syntactical phrases. Here's how the search looked in Accordance 11.0. Notice that only the first and final words of hit phrases are highlighted. That made it difficult to identify the phrases, especially when a search resulted in multiple hits in a verse. Now, here's the same search in Accordance 11.1. Notice that it now uses lines to identify phrases. Why do some words have multiple lines? It means that they are part of multiple hit phrases. In addition, Accordance 11.1 now allows us to set the depth of our search. The depth is the number of layers between the item and the items immediately below it. If there's nothing below it, the depth setting is irrelevant. I've set this one to 0 just to emphasize the point, but I could have set it to any number without affecting the search or its results. We've made many more improvements to make syntax searches easier and more precise. We'll cover those in a separate podcast. Unicode. Millions of people around the world use Unicode to type and read in their languages. While regular fonts usually just have enough characters to type in a single alphabet, Unicode fonts offer the ability to type in multiple languages. While not all the Bibles in this shot are in Unicode, all of them could be, and all of them could be typed in a single Unicode font. In fact, the latest Unicode standard, version 8, has 120,000 characters, enough to display 129 historical and modern scripts. Accordance 11.1 increases our compatibility with Unicode in a number of ways. Two of them are obvious and make a huge difference for some. First, those who use Unicode Bibles can now use Accordance's diagramming feature. And second, analytics, like this hits graph, will now support Unicode search results. Miscellaneous improvements. Accordance 11.1 also features a host of smaller improvements. There are too many to do more than just list them here. For a complete list of these changes, see this web page. I'm really excited about Accordance 11.1, as it includes some of the features I've been waiting for. Now that you've seen an overview of it, I trust you're just as excited. I'll be creating podcasts covering these new features over the next several months. Meanwhile, be sure to use Check for Updates and get your copy. If you're not yet an Accordance user, what are you waiting for? Step up to the world's premier Bible software for Mac, PC, iPhone, and iPad. This has been Dr. J for Accordance Bible Software. Thank you for watching this episode of Lighting the Lamp.